Hey guys, welcome back. I'm your coach and host, Kristin Chadwick. And today I have the lovely Lidia Schmiel with me today. And I am so stoked because I know so many of us here on this podcast, my listeners are coaches, and we all want a full calendar. We want to be able to bring in that income and to support our podcast, to support our families. And so Lydia is going to be here to answer that question of how do we do this and how do we do it well without maybe burnout or stress, all of like high stress. And we're just so blessed to have you here today. Welcome to the show.
No, thank you. Thank you. And I'm super excited because, this is my passion and I'm a coach myself for the last 8+ years. And I am super pumped to help other coaches to succeed because, as we talked before the
Mm-hmm.
interview, that I look at the statistics and they don't look good. They do
Yeah.
not look good. So I'm here and, you are here. We're both here to change the statistics. We're here to help coaches.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys, this statistic was shocking to me. And when she mentioned this, I was like, oh, we need some hope here. And I've seen so much, even since we talked previously, there are so many coaches that I've seen online saying, "I'm done for now. I'm hanging up my coach hat and I'm gonna move on to something else." So, the main thing that I want people to walk away with today is hope and encouragement to keep going. So, let's jump right in. Let's talk about that statistics number that makes you go, "Wait, what?"
Yeah, absolutely. No, I was also stoked, and only discovered it recently that actually 80% of coaches give up by
Mm,
year three. And so this is one. And then the second one, again, stoken, is that 0.02% of coaches make six figures or more. So what I get, and I get very passionate, I'm very emotional, extroverted person. What I get, angry, like genuinely angry about that people like advertise like, hey, six figure, seven figure, whatever businesses where the reality is, whatever they are promising you, the reality is only 0.02% of coaches are able to make six figures or more, which
wow.
I think we're here to change, right?
Mhm.
You and me.
Yes.
That's my mission. I really want to change that. And, not just because I want other people to get money, but because I genuinely believe that our world need more coaches. The state the world is in, all the struggles in different areas, the mental health, the health, productivity, uh, business, like all relationships, like a
Mhm.
huge area. All of this area would benefit from having more coaches there
Mhm.
in this area. So, we're here on the mission. Definitely,
Mhm.
I am on a mission to help more coaches to stay in the business, to have financially sustainable businesses, whether it's 5 figures, 6 figures, whatever you need.
Mhm.
I think it's kind of relevant to me, but kind of be financially sustainable is my definition. It's what I want my clients to achieve.
Yeah, well, and to think about the financially stable is such a huge, huge reason to stick with it and to be able to really help people and also helping bring in income, help your family, create that impact with your family as well as on a global level if you want, all over. I mean, like you and I, we're talking from across the world, and you can have that impact as well. So, okay, the staggering numbers of 80% give up by year 3. That's wild. And so I know, just in anecdotally experience, that there were a ton of people in 2020 who got certified to be a coach. So now we're
Mm,
on that cusp of just over 3 years. And so to see that drop off happen is not too shocking with the numbers. And oh, okay. So here is where you come in, and you are going to bring us some hope here.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So where do we start, Lydia? Where do we start?
Yeah, I think I think in any problem, like, if you're a coach, you know that the first step in any change is accepting, like seeing the reality as it is. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's such an important step in every change
Yeah.
situation, right? Whatever you want to change. I don't know. Look at the addiction. You have to admit, you're an addict, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, alcohol, games, whatever is the addiction, or any other change of behavior, you need to accept. So I think the first step, that's why I'm saying the statistics, not to scare people, because
Yeah.
fear. I know fear is triggering, can be
Mm-hmm.
triggering for some people, but I'm not saying it to trigger any response. I just want people to be aware that
Mm-hmm.
it's not an easy game, right? Now, this is first. Now, I think the second step is, and I think again, this is a thing that people, or not people, but the coaching schools
Mm-hmm.
could be doing a better job. They could tell people that, you know, building a coaching business, it has a business part in
Mm-hmm.
it,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yes.
and what they do in these coaching schools, mainly 90%, or, in some schools, 100%, they teach them coaching, but they don't teach them business.
Yep.
But when you start building your coaching business, honestly, it's 80% building a business and 20% of coaching, right?
Yep.
And again, that's another kind of awareness thing. So I think the first step is realize, hey, I'm building a business. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not just and I just recently, I need to grab that reference about the books. Like, when you start building a business, you are a technician, and in our case, it's a coach.
Mm-hmm.
You're also an entrepreneur, so you need to have a strategy, a vision. So you know
Yeah.
what you're building, and then you need to be a manager, dealing with the day-to-day operation, the accounting, the
Right.
admin, the booking, and
Mm-hmm.
the website, and the blog. Like, and you
Yes.
have all these roles,
Yep.
so you can be a great coach, amazing coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's a business. So in the business, there are other roles.
Yeah.
Again, that's another awareness. And it's still the first step. So I think at the first step, you realize, all right. And maybe it's an evaluation, like, okay, am I capable to do these three roles?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes the answer is yes. I think, a lot of people, okay. So, some of the skills I have, some of the skills I need to learn. So I'm going to be this entrepreneur. So stating the strategy, the vision, planning, what I'm going to be, how I'm going to be, and then I'm going to be the manager. I'm going to set up the company, or self-employed, whatever, the legal stuff, the accounting stuff,
Mm-hmm.
the booking program. Like, there are a lot of this admin thing. Or there's another way. You can say, hey, it's just
Mm-hmm.
I'm not cut out for this. And that's okay as well. I think there are other options. You can say, you know what? Maybe I hire someone,
Mm-hmm.
like a manager, administrator, or integrator. I think that's another word for someone who's going to just help me with the business side of things. So I'm
Yeah.
going to be the expert, the coach, and I'm going to hire someone. Now, I'm going to warn you, it's not easy because you need to find, you know, oh my
Mhm.
God, it's like finding a husband, I guess, or a wife. Like,
Right.
it's not easy.
Mhm.
They need to be chemistry, they need to be, you need to be really fit together. Like I never, and I'm a little bit a special case because my background, in finance, 15
Mhm.
years I worked in finance. I had a business education. I got executive MBA, so I have this business
Yes.
background and manager background. So when I when I switched my career from corporate to coaching, I'm like, okay, well,
Yes.
that's kind of business 101. So it wasn't difficult for me, although I still struggle because there is another element, and the element is just overwhelm. If you
Mhm.
fulfill these three roles,
Mhm.
and I had a family, and I had a young kid, I had my fourth kid just born at the same time.
Oh my goodness,
It
that's
was
a
just
lot.
too much. It was just too much at the same time. So it was just planning, productivity. Yeah, it's just overwhelm, and another thing, and then, I'm sure we'll talk about this. Um, if you take all these roles, they're how do I call this? The internal, the
Mm.
internal stuff. I mean, I don't know even to find the kind of the umbrella term for this, but like the fear of selling, the fear of promotion, the
Mm.
fear of because when you're in the corporate, you just go from
Mhm.
level to level, from level
Right.
to level, and you could experience an imposter syndrome a little bit. But when you go from corporate to the entrepreneur, like the coach, like it's huge.
Mhm.
It's like it's enormous. Like you now have to present yourself, and you don't have yet experience, you don't have yet the cases, the success, and everything. So all the internal stuff you
Yeah.
have to deal with is also another kind of elephant in the room that not many people are talking about, especially in the coaching schools.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree. That mindset of showing up confidently that you are able to help somebody when you're first starting is very real. Um, I taught a class for a coaching school all about the business side of coaching because that's what was lacking was through this
Mm,
whole program. um, they set you up so well for the coaching, the actual
yeah.
coaching.
Mm,
But the only thing that when I left the school, when I was finished, I said the only thing that was missing for me was, okay, so how do you build a business? And so I love that you brought that up, because I ended up being able to teach that course to coaches at that same school. Um, and there's just so much of what you just said of the awareness of being a coach is so much more than just coaching. It is the business side. It is the setting up um your finances, your marketing. And for people that are listening, my podcasters who they have a podcast because they want to share how they coach and who they coach and style and stories. And so that's another thing to juggle there as well. And I love what you said about finding somebody almost almost like a marriage to help you with aspects that maybe you're not as well versed in. And so that's why people hire us and our team to help them with the podcast side of things. If they don't want to edit, they don't want to produce, they don't want to promote their stuff. We're here. And then, like for me in my business, as a podcaster, as a coach, as um, somebody who has learned to build a business, I am very aware that I do not thrive in certain zones. And so picking out my person who is such a gift. And she has known me for so long that it just meshes so well that I can let go of so much of my business and actually continue to operate in the coaching and consulting role and have the energy to do so. Um, but I will say too, I was going to say, have you found with coaches, because I have found in my own business and coaching that there are stages. So it feels like it'll be like a year. And then I'm like, oh, you know what? I think it's time to hand off some roles because I'm a little over maxed at the moment. Have you found that?
Um, I don't know. I don't think if it's time, actually. I think that it's more like people already. It's
Mm,
the state when people the mindset when people kind of realize that they're ready. They
mhm.
understand they cannot handle, and they realize, okay, well, the only way to push forward is to give up some of the air. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's time. I would say it's just some people it's just quicker
Mhm.
to realize that, and I just praise those people. But some people and perfection, if you're lucky,
Mm.
air quotes, like me with perfectionism, like always doing your A+ game, these people are late
Yes.
to realize that they cannot do it all, right? And
Yes.
that's me. Like right
Mhm.
now, I'm watching my YouTube channel and I'm hired because I've been doing it for so many years.
Yes.
Now that's very clear to me that
Yeah.
these are my strengths and these are my weaknesses.
Mhm.
And it's just through it's through doing it, through experimentation, it's through
Yeah.
failures.
Yeah.
Now I know this is I'm good at, and this is I can do this. I'm
Yeah.
okay with that, but it doesn't bring me pleasure. It just there's someone I can outsource it for,
Mhm.
like, it will not cost me a lot, but it will
Mhm.
save me so much time and energy. So that's
Yes.
what I'm doing. I hired someone who's going to help me with the YouTube channel, just
Mhm.
posting
Yeah.
thumbnails, description, SEO, and all that stuff. So
Mhm.
I don't know if it's time. I think it's more internal
That is true.
uh,
Yeah.
maturity in the awareness what you're good at, what okay, the zone of genius is,
Yep.
is a great term. So
Mhm.
what is your zone of genius? And you should keep doing that, and you
Yeah.
cannot delegate that, you cannot give it away. Now anything else, it should be either automated or delegated. That's
Mm.
it.
Yeah.
And again, people come at this realization at different stages.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. Automated or delegated? Yes. Okay, so we've got the first thing is awareness and acceptance, and kind of wrapped up in there is the coaching business side of
Mm-hmm.
things too. Okay, so what's the next step in there?
Um, well, uh, the next step is, I think, actually getting, coaching.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I think people sometimes rush through
Mhm.
that, they want to launch a course or they want to do a group, but I don't think they're ready
Mm.
because they need to get a certain experience. We're talking about coaches specifically, and I know
Mhm.
your audience are coaches. I think you need to get a certain number of coaching clients, and that could be clients. You can start with the interviews, the discovery calls, and then get some coaching sessions to get coaching clients. That's the best. You need to get in the weeds. You need
Mm.
to get kind of into your niche and talking to your clients. And it can be, I know, and I'm very much the advocate, very narrow niche, but in the beginning, it's very hard to narrow the niche. So in the beginning, it's okay. I think the next step is uh, try to get as many clients as you want,
Mm.
as you
Yeah.
can. You,
Yeah.
uh, because you need to get experience. You need to get talking to your clients. You need to understand them very well. And the best way is to do it through coaching,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
Because then you understand them, you know the language, you know the problems, you know the goals, you know
Mhm.
what to put on the on the marketing materials, you know what to put on the content. Like I think the next step is just um yeah, get out there,
Yeah.
and get as many clients as you can.
Yeah. Yeah. I call it the coaching reps. Just get it out there. And even I always say too, like start with your friends. If you're just starting and you're like, "Hey, I need to practice coaching." And I did this too in the beginning when I was starting coaching and I just asked my closest friends, "Who wants coaching?" Bless them for for bearing with me as I tried to learn my coaching skills with them. And then what happens is so beautiful is that you start to learn who do you work really well with, who is it that you connect with and you can really hold space for those people. And as you continue to serve them well and show up well, then that natural referral starts happening. But I just was listening to another podcast uh, interview where a guy was starting his coaching business and his podcast at the same time. And he just
Mm.
said, I just kept putting it out there. Like, we're doing this for free. We want to get 50 clients under our belt. And he went for it. And he now has a very successful podcast and a very successful coaching business. And of course, that number had to keep shrinking because his time was very limited. And he was started to get paid for it. So it's almost, what is that? There's like a math term, um, where if you start wide, you can bring it in narrow, but charge more as you get in
Yeah.
more focused, and your time gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So if you okay, here's another question for you. So a lot of my podcasters, they're already coaches. They've been coaching for 4+ years and they're seeing a decrease in clients. So,
Okay.
how would you encourage them?
Okay. If you've been coaching for a number of years, so I think it's a little bit different situation,
Mhm.
different strategy. I think again, the report that I'm referring to is ICF report. I think it's
Yeah.
2023. You can look at that, and majority of coaches from that report show that they have other revenue streams, right? And
Mhm.
that is consulting, that is teaching, that is speaking, and you can name a few. I don't remember all of them, but definitely consulting,
Yep.
teaching, and speaking. So if you've been coaching for a number of years and you see decrease in clients, I think it's time to think about your coaching product suite.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
think you're ready. I think you're ready to think about, okay, what else can I do? Because coaching is great, but what can I supplement it with? And
Mhm.
that could be teaching, and teaching can be online course, that could be digital course, right?
Mhm.
Like self-paced, like on demand. That could be live cohorts, like a
Mhm.
group
Yeah.
course, coaching, because through the group cohort you able to offer the same that you offer through the coaching, but to a less,
Mhm.
lower value per person, but same value to you, or even greater value to you. So the
Right.
group offers benefits to the client, and extra benefits, because in cohorts you get extra
Yes.
value, right? They learn from each other, there is a discussion, there is
Yep.
peer-to-peer interaction. I mean, so The other one could be the teaching and consulting, right?
Mhm.
So, if you've been coaching on a certain niche, you're probably an expert in this
Mhm.
niche. And again, you can offer consulting job either to individuals or to businesses, which obviously higher,
Mhm.
normally higher price point. So that could give you another revenue stream. And then there could be speaking engagement, where you just go to conference
Yeah.
speaker. There could be, ebook. I mean, there could be
Mhm.
other products, productized services, products,
Mhm. Yes.
other. Right. I think you need to diversify. That's what I would do.
Okay.
Um, I think that's the way forward.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm thinking of a few people I know that, they do have different options to offer, as podcasters who are coaches. So they have a
Mm,
book, they have a group coaching, they have, which is great.
yeah.
I think where maybe the help would be, how do I get back out there? If I've already coached a lot of the people that I know, how do I continue to open up my client base, to new people?
Mm.
Uh, so I think that's where that, is a common question for a lot of my podcasters.
Okay. Okay. And let's get it really specific to your audience. So you
Yeah.
guys are podcasters. I think. Well, again, just from the
Yeah.
top of my mind, I see at least two obvious ways. One, start inviting people with the audience.
Mm,
So, who are your guests? And think about this guest has an audience, because when you interview someone, like you interview me, I'm
mhm.
going to share our podcast to my
Right.
audience. So they
Yeah.
will be like, oh, I'm interested. I want to research what you do. And they might become the customer of yours.
Mhm.
So the same way, the coach, when they invite someone, think about who is my guest, who, and potential audience of my guest that the guest can share. And
Yeah.
again, you can even pay the guest,
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
to do this, so that you get access to their audience.
Yeah.
And then how you get more clients. Now flip this around. You become the guest on other people
Mhm.
podcast, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm here through the pod match, or just researching
Mhm.
whatever you want to use. Just become a guest on other people podcast.
Yeah.
You get access to their audience, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
they include in the show notes, they include the links to you. If you're saying something that they're interested in and they got excited about, they're gonna go and research you, and they're gonna go and hire you. So if you're a podcaster, then I think the easiest way is either think
Mhm.
more strategic about the guests that you invite,
Yes.
or become a guest on other people podcasts, because you become so good at podcasts, and
Mhm.
just attract more people through being a guest.
Yes. Yes, great, and I agree totally, 100%. This is like what I talk about inside of my podcast membership group is, how are you getting on other people's podcasts and serving well? Not purely just to get exposure, but how can you lead by demonstration of, this is how I could bless you, this is how I could hold space for whatever you need coaching for. And yep, I totally agree. This is
Yeah, just one comment to the word you mentioned, not just exposure. I think just in general, the podcast and the social media, and just in general, I think too many people think about transactional
Mhm.
versus relations.
Yes. Yes.
I think, if you can switch, if you can do this mindset shift and
Mhm.
say, hey, I'm just having a good time, and all I want is just help people, serve people. Now,
Yeah.
if I get business out of it, great.
Great.
That's just a bonus, right?
Mhm.
I'm not gonna say no, but I'm not coming here desperate. Oh
Mm.
my God, I'm here because I need clients. Like, I'm desperate for clients. That's such a uh, um,
Mhm.
repellent
Yes.
attitude,
Yes.
because people
Mhm.
like, ooh, So I think that mind shift that need to happen, that you interviewing someone because you're genuinely interested, and that's how
Mhm.
I feel here, right?
Mhm.
And then I invite someone to my podcast. I'm just interested to hear their perspective,
Yeah.
and then to help people, to serve people. So tuning you into serving, helping, and genuinely connecting with people, because
Yeah.
it's interesting.
Mhm.
I'm genuinely interested in this conversation. Um, I think anything else comes as a bonus. And
Mhm.
then if your mind is like too much desperate, transactional, that's going to be very hard.
Mhm.
That's going to kind of,
Yes.
you will not see it, but there will be kind of a red,
Right.
red alarm coming up, like, beep, beep, and it's just going to repel people. So, and I know sometimes it's very hard, when your business is going down, when your
Mhm.
revenues are dipping. And that's why sometimes when I have some clients coming into me and I say, look, get a job,
Mm.
get a
Yes.
part-time, get a part-time job,
Yes.
stable income.
Mhm.
I did it at some point because I was like, financially struggling. And I said, I need a job. I need a stable income, because a desperate coach, I think that's the worst,
Yes.
the worst type of coach. So get an income, get it fixed, and
Yeah.
then be serving, be helping,
Mhm.
and that just make everything quicker and easier, and just more natural.
Yeah. Oh, I love I love that you said that because I feel like and I've had this on a previous episode with some dear friends where we were talking about how there's such a stigma with needing to go get a job to tide things over, and I don't know who didn't get affected financially this past year or the last couple of years, but I love that you shared that too of like, it's okay to go get a part-time job or a full-time job and do this on the side for a little bit, and like you, I've had to do that too where I gotta go get some income so that I can continue to pay my people or, and that is okay. It's a season and maybe it's not a season. Maybe it's just acceptance of like, this is shifting. But I know that those coaches that have a heart for coaching will always have that option to do some side coaching. I mean, when you're a coach and you have coached for a while, it's just in your nature at that point. So I know my kids
Yeah.
are, they have lived with a coach mom since 2020, where I'm
you
like,
know
oh, let me ask
Yeah,
you a question.
my 10-year daughter favorite song now, Espresso.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And then, she's thinking, I'm working late because I'm a coach.
Coach. Yes.
That's how it works.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
That's how we sing it. She's like, no. I'm like, yeah,
Yes.
working late. because I'm a coach.
That is so cute. I love it. I love it. Oh, goodness. Okay, is there anything else that you want to share that I missed, that you wanna encourage or just bring hope, to
Yeah.
coaches today?
I think, I think you touch on the important points. I think very important to understand that building coaching business is not easy, right? Because it's not just the craft of coaching, which is a tough craft, as
Yes.
any craft,
Mhm.
right? We need to learn it, practice it, and just become better, better, better with the practice. But it's also business, and we have to be the entrepreneur and the manager. So it's kind of three hats we have to put on. So it's not easy. And again, you can choose to do it by yourself. You can hire someone to help me. It's not easy because you need to find the right person. So
Right.
majority of coaches I've seen do it by themselves. But it's one of the most fulfilling
Mhm.
jobs out there. Like, I love it. I'm not going to give up. Even if I have to have something else
Mm.
as a full-time, part-time, or whatever. It's a job because, nothing, at least what I've tried,
Mhm.
maybe there are other jobs, I love like medical movies, but
Yes.
I think doctors and firefighters, these people, they have the most cool jobs because they get such a meaningful jobs. But I think coaching is very similar,
I agree.
because every session is, even if it's, sometimes it feels like, I don't know, nothing happens, and then you get the feedback like, oh my god, I had this realization. I don't know, the feedback that I've got through the years,
Yeah.
uh it's just very fulfilling job. And if you feel that coaching is your job, just keep doing that.
Mhm.
My message is, just don't give up, please.
Yeah.
Again, do what you need to do. If you need an extra income, that's okay. If you need to find someone to help you, a business coach, or like you, a
Mhm.
podcast coach, just make sure. And I think that's another message. I think uh, when coaches hire another coach, they
Mhm.
only confirm how important coaching is, because they
Yeah.
just walk the talk, right?
Mhm.
Right.
Absolutely.
I've had a health coach, I had a business coach. I mean, yeah, and I think it only made me better, because
Mhm.
now I can say, hey, I am a coach, but I also need a coach.
Yeah.
So I just want to say, keep going, because again, this world needs more coaches in
Mhm.
in various areas, because the world is going through a difficult stage. I
Mhm.
think in every country is
Mhm.
different, political climate. I don't know. There are various layers,
Mhm.
economical,
Mhm.
but relationship, in every area of our lives, uh, we need more coaches. We would
Yes.
benefit from more coaches. So
Yeah.
don't give up. There are people, if something is not working, find help. I
Yes.
think that's
Yeah.
kind of my message, the
Mhm.
final message: find help, and there is help. I'm a
Mhm.
business coach for coaches. You're a
Yep.
podcast coach for coaches who want to use podcasts, and there are others out there.
Yeah.
Find help, and keep going.
Yeah.
That's my
Yeah.
message.
Thank you for that encouraging word, and I totally agree. Find help. You're not alone. Don't give up. This is hard work, and, as a coach, you're pouring yourself out over and over again, and I love that you reminded us to remember to get our own coaching. And yes, you are a valuable asset, Lydia. And I pray that the people that are listening that feel that tug of like, oh, I need to go talk to Lydia a little bit more. Um, I encourage you to reach out to Lydia. Lydia, where can they find you? Where can they connect with you?
No, of course. LinkedIn, if you're there, Lidia
Mhm.
Schmel. THMEL. And I don't know if there are show notes with the link to
Yes.
it, or getitdonecoaching.com. That's my
Okay.
website. Yeah, but I would love to connect, and we just need to have a conversation. I'm always, um, I'm always open to just a casual. I call it Zoom coffee call
I love it.
with coaches. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, well, and you guys, she is in Israel, so it is such a fascinating story. I was trying to find words for her story, and I really could not. So, I encourage you guys to take her up on that free Zoom coffee call because she is a gem to know, and I know she's got a heart of gold to help and to coach many, many people out there that need that encouragement right now. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk soon.